All right, you are now tuned into the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with Heck, Goose, and Gabe. Prepping 101. In this episode, we cover topics that range from prepping, FEMA, survival, self-defense, the current pandemic, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Anne Frank and Bear Grylls. Guys, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off. Gentlemen, here we are.
What's up?
It hasn't been the squad for a minute. Like, we had, like, just us.
Yeah.
But it was, like, parts of us.
Yeah. Right.
Right? But now it's the squad's here. It's awesome.
We all here.
All right, so let's jump right into it. Prepping 101. So I wanted to start this off because I thought it was kind of fascinating. Someone brought it to my attention. I think it's very bizarre that I didn't really know this going in, but I knew this going in, meaning I didn't realize FEMA updated their list. I knew they had a list, like a survival, like emergency supply kit is what they call it. I always knew they had that. I didn't realize they updated it though this past year because of the pandemic.
Okay.
So when someone pointed that out, I thought it was cool. So I'm grabbing this from FEMA.gov, and it's called "How to Build a Kit for Emergencies." So what goes in an emergency supplies kit? They ask. Being prepared means having your own food, water, and other supplies to last for at least 72 hours. A disaster supplies kit is a collection of basic items your household may need in the event of emergency. Make sure your emergency kit is stocked with the items on the checklist below. Most of the items are inexpensive, easy to find, and any of them could save your life. Once you take a look at the basic items, consider what unique needs your family has, such as supplies for pets or seniors. And a lot of that is medication. A basic disaster supplies kit to assemble your kit, store items in airtight plastic bags, and put your entire disaster supplies kit in one or two easy-to-carry containers, such as plastic bins or a duffel bag. A basic emergency supplies kit could include the following recommended items. So are you guys with us so far?
We're recommended.
We're with us so far.
Yes.
All right. And so their basic list. So what they're saying, water, 1 gallon per person per day for at least 3 days for drinking and sanitation. Now they're talking a complete disaster, right? Like no running water. If there is running water, you're not quite sure if it's getting filtered because typically where your water gets filtered through is ran by electricity, typically. And so if the grid's down, that's down, meaning, yes, you might be getting water coming out of your faucet. However, it's not sanitized, so to speak. Also with electricity obviously being out. So this is the kind of thing we're referring to. And going back to prepping 101, this is just the basics, right? And so I know there's folks out there who have all kinds of stuff that they did to prepare for end of world scenarios,
like whole bunkers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when stuff hits the fan events is basically what they call it. And so trying to be prepared. And I know there's folks out there that can annihilate this topic, but this is just for beginners, which is what I consider myself, and that's all this list is anyway. And again, you're going to have to tailor this to yourself, your needs, and your family's needs. So that was food. That was water. The next one's food. At least 3-day supply of non-perishable food. Battery-powered or hand-cranked radio on a NOAA weather channel with one tone alert. It's crazy because I seen one of these, and I meant to scoop one up this weekend, and for some reason I got in a conversation with somebody or whatever, and I totally forgot. So this just reminded me I gotta get one of these. Yes, it is. It's this one where it's solar power and hand cranked. Okay. So you're backed up.
That is interesting.
Flashlight, first aid kit, extra batteries, a whistle to signal for help, dust mask to help filter contaminated air, plastic sheeting and duct tape to shelter in place, moist towelettes, garbage bags, and plastic ties for personal sanitation, manual can opener for food, local maps, cell phone with chargers and backup battery, additional supplies currently recommended by the CDC. Recommends people include additional items to their kits to help prevent the spread of the coronavirus and the flu. So this is what I was saying. The CDC actually added to the list of items recommended because of the current pandemic. But what happened was, as we all know, there was a shortage in a bunch of stuff that we couldn't get our hands on, literally.
Right.
And so now they're telling us to consider adding the following items to your emergency supply kit based on your individual needs. Cloth face covering, for everyone ages 2 and above, soap, hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes to disinfect surfaces, prescription medications, non-prescription medications such as pain relievers, anti-diarrhea medication, antacids or laxatives. Also throw in there vitamin C. They don't have that on there. That was my recommendation. Prescription eyeglasses and contact lens solution, infant formula, bottles, diapers, wipes, and diaper rash cream, pet food and extra water for your pet, cash or traveler's checks, important family documents such as copies of your insurance policies, identification, bank account records saved electronically or in a waterproof portable container, sleeping bag or warm blanket for each person, complete change of clothing appropriate for your climate, sturdy shoes, fire extinguisher, matches in a waterproof container, feminine supplies and personal hygiene items, mess kits, paper cups, plates, paper towels, and plastic utensils, paper and pencil, books, games, puzzles, or other activities for children. Obviously, that was added because legit, especially what's going on in Texas, they have nothing going on there, right? And so the little things, basically, our childhood going back up, and we did puzzles and things like that. Taking it straight up old school. Anyway, that's at FEMA.gov. Again, that's probably the most basic list you'll see, but it'll get you. So basically, what they're asking you is to give them 3 days, right? And if you watch any prepper channel, any prepper, they say, they can say anywhere between a week to 6 months to a year. Survive on your own. All right, so we're talking about the average person who, whatever. If you buy all these things or get all these things little by little and just slowly add, everyone can basically do this. Yeah. Right? Most people, I should say. And so if you're aware of it, you can start thinking about it and start planning for it. But if you're not aware of it and then a disaster happens, meaning you're not prepared or whatever, it could be catastrophic. Oh, 100%. And that's what happened to a lot of people over the years, since the beginning of time. If you're not prepared for X, Y, and Z events. And also, guys, just because you have all these items doesn't mean, you just have a better shot, I think, obviously, at surviving. Because there's some stuff that, if it was, something in the air, like chemical or something like that, like biohazard-wise, all this stuff's fine and dandy. However, you're breathing in a chemical that's,
that's all null and void.
Yes, exactly. So understand, this is prepping 101. This isn't like going all out. So around the horn, gentlemen. Start with Heck. Go to Goose. What are your thoughts on prepping?
It seems more surreal. Like, I know you started it last year. Obviously, we're a year into this pandemic, and I thought you were going overboard. And I'm like, dang, this dude's going nuts. And then I'm thinking about it. Like 3 months into it, he's like, this dude's for real. Like, this is actually real stuff that can happen. Like, you were buying like extra food, like ramen noodles in a cup that were dry, right? All you need is water and heat it up. You got yourself some dinner. He was just prepping and doing all this stuff, and then he's got bags for him, his wife, and his 2 boys. Like, each of them have their own bags. It's amazing just to see the preparation and how simple it is. Like, it doesn't need to be anything complex, right? All this stuff. You got like just duct tape and a solar power charger so that you could charge your phones. And I heard that, or I was watching a video, and they said to bring extra phone chargers to have with you so that you can plug in your phone in case yours is left in the house, and the house is, God forbid, not standing or anything like that. But I think it's it's something, especially the way things are going now, it's something that everyone should consider doing. If not having one for everyone in the family, at least have something in the house so that if something does happen, you're prepped. You have, some food set behind, and if it gives enough to keep you going for a couple of days. But I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's definitely hitting me, and I'm like, look at all the stuff that Jim has here. It's just amazing. Definitely going to go out and start making my own bag. My package is I got 15 kids, so yeah. So it's going to be, I'm going to be a whole month.
Ramen noodles.
It's going to be a whole month for me to get them together, all my kids. But,
and so, and to go back on that though, I bought a, actually we'll get into it after that, but I'll explain what I did. So yeah, it doesn't have to be X, Y, and Z, and this is just my.
Right, this is your to liking.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, even though like you have all this stuff for survival for like the wilderness, but like we were just saying in Texas, it started snowing, and those houses they're not made to withstand snow and all that stuff. So pipes are freezing, like roofs are collapsing because of the weight of snow on top, and you have these people that are going to like either shelters, or you have Mr. What's his name?
Mr. Mattress.
Mr. Mattress. Yeah. He opened up his whole store.
Yeah,
it's a whole store of like furniture store, so people can just stay there. But like you're in there, you have a place. You have a shelter, but like, do you have food to survive? So if you have this, even if you find a shelter, at least you have something to like keep you like hydrated with water and if you have to use a bathroom, you have like the necessities to clean yourself and stuff like that. Just the basic little things, because dude, those natural disasters come like that, and if you're not ready, you're just gonna do whatever it takes to survive. But if you have these proper things, I mean, you could probably withstand some of it and last a little bit longer than what they probably would say. So it is like, and the key thing is to have them like in a nice, like, obviously a run and grab location. If you have these kits, right, and you have them up in the attic somewhere stored, and then anything happens, you got to run up there and grab it, or they're in the basement somewhere in a back closet. Like, have them always in a
easily accessible.
Yeah, accessible like spot where you can just if something happens, boom, just run and grab. At least grab 2 or 3 of them. It'll help for the whole family if you can't grab every single one. Yep. But yeah, it's definitely ideal to have, and like Heck was saying, Jim has one for every person in the household. And then he has extra even in his car. So like even if like not even him, just God forbid, like not even the family, God forbid, he's on a road trip and something happens. He has a kit in the car, Exactly. So it's just it is super smart. It's something that a lot of people don't really think about and take it for granted. Honestly, like I'm looking at it, it's like super genius, but I don't even have any of this stuff in my car. I mean,
do you have a whistle?
I'll have a bottle that's rolling around the back seat of water, but that'll survive like 2 seconds with it. But all this stuff, it is really like, and I'm looking at it, like you see duct tape you can use for so many different things, but like the solar panels for your phone. Today not that you can't survive without a phone, but dude, that's huge. If you can't contact no one without having a phone or having your phone charged, or because now it pins your location. Say you're up hiking, and that'll help you like. And you're stranded or something happens to you, that'll help you keep your phone alive. So it is super smart.
Gabe, what are your thoughts?
Especially with like, even to like a minor degree, like obviously our infrastructure was still functioning, but like, but even like the basic sanitary stuff where you couldn't get a lot of stuff. Unless you really like scoured like a lot of different stores and stuff or you were very minimized because it was like, people just cleaned everything out. So it's like, even stuff like that, it's like just having basic stuff like that. It's good to still have those things, like minus actually a huge catastrophe, whatever. So it's like, everybody needs to do something like that. I mean, whether, all of us aren't always prepared for that degree, but it's definitely absolutely like half the stuff that you pulled out. I was like, I didn't realize like it's even packaged that way.
Dude, he has whey milk. He has milk, like powdered milk,
or even like the bags of water and stuff like that.
There's bags of water there.
He's got a sleeping bag that's literally rolled up. It looks like a little hoagie roll, like a sub. It's a sleeping bag though. You just unravel it, and if he needs to sleep somewhere, he's gonna be able to sleep and stay covered up and not let the bugs bite him and stuff like that. And like a tent, again, it's rolled up so small that it's like, how the heck? It's pretty crazy. It's wild, the stuff that he has here.
Yeah, we got the also. It's funny too. It's like Goose said. You hear duct tape, and you're like, you laugh initially, and you're like,
But yeah, you can use duct tape for anything.
Yeah, I can really do mad different things with duct tape.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because there's we got like a blue tarp in there. We have like a painter's tarp for the ground or whatever. There's rope here. Just little things that I can build off of that, like a shelter, just off that and everything I have, and not have to depend on how fast someone could. Because let's be honest, if we're stranded, you're stranded. But then all of a sudden, like, what if you're stranded? People always think like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in the middle of like, well, I don't go hiking. I'm not going to fall off of a cliff. Why would I need? Yeah. But listen, these people are in Texas in their own homes and they're stranded.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the point. That's why it's and Goose made a good point. It has to be in a specific location where the sun's not beating on at 150 degrees for 4 or 5 weeks and destroying everything that's basically in there. But listen, when I've always wanted to do this, right? Years ago, I wanted to have like my own little bug out bag, and I just thought it was neat. I thought it was cool, whatever. And then like life happens, and I'd let life happen, just let it distract me, and I just never did it. And then last year happened, the beginning of last year, and I started buying like little things here and there. I was buying a lot of, I was prepping in a different way, though. I was prepping, and these guys can tell you, in a self-defense way. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, because there was like a lot of looting going on. Yeah. And I'm not even talking about like a business. I'm talking about like our own house, like, preparing to defend my own home is really what I'm saying. But you didn't know what it can grow to. You didn't know whatever. And so it got to a height where I was just like, it made me realize, like, I'm really not ready. Like, I'm really not prepared. Like, and I kind of, like, it chin-checked me, And all this stuff is, like, all this food. So I have a 4 Patriots 72-hour food kit. I have the ReadyWise. Everything you see in red is an additional 72 hours. So they recommend 72 hours. I doubled up. And so each member of my tribe, whatever, has 6 days worth of food. Now, the thing that I've been working on is water supply, because obviously the recommendation, we have like big, huge jugs, but I keep thinking, I'm like, what am I going to do if like I have to scram? Like, I love it because everything's in this bag, but like, water is heavy if you have it in the gallon things, or if you have a case of water. Where am I running to with that? And so when there's these little legit bags of water. They're awesome. It's just not enough. Like that's good for one day maybe for me. For my son's probably 2 days or something. My wife maybe 2 days, but for me that's maybe a day. I go through that much through. What's it say?
It says drink minimum 2 bags per person per day.
Right.
That's minimum.
That's for marine emergencies.
So what I just say, I say Kel could probably last 2 days. Me, that's definitely 1 day. If I'm like on survival mode.
Yeah.
But like absolutely. Even like the FEMA like recommendation is even for that encapsulates everything, like sanitation, everything too, just like cleaning yourself and everything too.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I'm talking just me drinking water.
Yeah.
So drink a lot of water. But anyway, so long story short, then you put together like little things, like there's toilet paper in this. It's in a Ziploc bag. It might sound silly, but a little travel toothbrush and toothpaste, tissues, earplugs. Just for example, if we're getting, there's a lot of noise, or there's an attack or whatever is going on, the earbuds can come in handy. And then there's a dry like bandana in there just in case, And again, it's zip-locked. There's nothing worse or you being more uncomfortable than being wet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? Think about that. Think about like when you're at like some theme park and for whatever reason your friend convinced you to go on that one water ride and the rest of the day you're walking around like that
mushy shoes.
And it gets dark and cold and next thing
you're uncomfortable, you're chafing. Oh, it's bad. I also have this like what they call like a personal water filter. This is like really
that's cool. I think that's legit. Cool as heck.
Again, this one's also from 4patriots.com. The number 4 and then patriots.com. A lot of my stuff is from there, just because that's literally all these people do. They specialize in this survival stuff, so they have it all figured out and all the science and all that stuff backed up. But look up what a personal water filter is. It's pretty fascinating. You hope it never gets to that, but if it does, you none of us really know. I have a life tent here, and it also has like a whistle at the bottom of it. Some of the other packs that I have, there's like a compass in there. There's another whistle in there. We have matches, waterproof matches. That's important to know.
That's
waterproof
very important,
matches,
yes.
not just regular matches. What else is in there, Heck?
You got a flashlight. You got a tin cup plus some playing cards, a mask.
So this is all, and this is all on top of your, like, if what they call EDC, which is everyday carry. So if you have, like your pocket knives and your multi-tools already in your pocket, your flashlights, so you should be somewhat already good. This is in addition to.
It looks like it has a small first aid kit. That's another thing you want to carry around.
Yeah, so each of those have first aid kits. Same thing with my vehicle and my wife's vehicle. Both have roadside assistance. They both have like jumper cables and things like that. Gloves, ponchos, what else? Things like flares to get flagged down, and 2 first aid kits. What else? And I have like a trauma kit in my Jeep, along with another bug out bag.
The shovel, it's pretty cool. The little shovel that's in here, it's
Yeah.
like a little fold up guy, but it's like, I mean, obviously you're not going to dig a hole to another country, but I mean, it's enough for if you want to dig like.
Well, if you're building a fire, it's really
Right, that's what I was going to say. Like build a fire, you'd be able
Or
to dig
put
something
out a
out.
fire, yeah.
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 So, and I have, again, this is just what will carry on me, and I try to keep it to a point where I'm also carrying both of my son's bags on my arm. So you got to like be conscious of that too, for the folks like or me and my wife splitting, while my wife carrying one bag or a bag and holding another one, then holding the baby in another one, then I'm holding the one kid and holding you got to think of those things. But again, I have all straight up beginner stuff. But as these guys will tell you, when I first initially started, I didn't have food and water, which is hilarious. I didn't even have shelter. And it was like I was so focused on protection because that was just a mindset. And then as the year went along, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're still not even close. Yeah. So then little by little, I started adding to my kit and actually taking things out that weren't really necessary. It's a survival. It's for you to survive. It's the point. It's the point to remember. Yeah. It's not going to be some luxury experience. Not per se. Anyway, that's not really the intention. Yeah.
Not they're glamping.
Hopefully it is. Hopefully it ends up being that. But
sure.
This is just, you're kind of roughing it out, man. I mean, same thing with like the sleeping bag. I don't have a pillow. You know what I mean? Like some people do though. You have to make this to what you're liking. There's like those like like the inflatable beds or whatever. They have inflatable pillows and people.
Well, because that's not like a typical sleeping bag. It's more like a sleeping.
More just like a
coverage.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure it's kind of some sort of waterproof. So if you have to sleep. If you're sleeping out there with no coverage, you got.
Yeah, and my thing was like that was like the like what happened last year for me was like the warning shot, and I always ask myself, I was like, if that happened again, who are we to blame? Right? Are you going to be mad at the government? Are you going to be mad at the local officials or yourself? Because we basically got the warning shot.
Yeah,
that is what it was.
Yeah.
If you didn't do anything, or if you're not doing anything, who's it on? Is it on them again, or? You could blame somebody the first time around. If it happens the second time, you're caught, empty-handed or whatever, holding the bag. That's on you.
Yeah.
Another cool thing too. This company, ReadyWise, where you got this red bag. What I initially did, because I actually got I fell into the trap of panicking, so to speak. Yeah. And this was after everything kind of died down. This was in. I don't know, maybe like November of last year, October, November. I wanted to just, oh my gosh, I felt that I was so behind that I went ahead and bought, ReadyWise put out these bags. What you see here, it's a like a backpack that's already prepped for you. So that's where you see that bag over there. It comes with that bag and this food. So 72 hours worth of food and that bag of basic essentials over there. Everything else I already had, created on my own, switched out. I had other stuff. I took stuff out. And And these bags come with a lot of space, and it was crazy because they had a deal. It was like buy 2 get 2 free.
Oh, wow,
I
okay.
needed 4, so I'm like,
wow.
bam,
That worked out.
yeah.
Yeah, I need 15.
And if honestly, like if you think about it, I think it was like $100. I think I don't even remember, but for $100, yeah, it was for like $100. You got 2 bags. Think about how basic this is.
Yeah.
Like when you start adding up, you're like, oh my gosh, dude, this is gonna drive me crazy. I need this, and this. But start doing the math. How much people were paying for toilet paper?
Yes.
When this whole thing hit the fan,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You would be dying to pay $50 for a bag like this. You know what I'm saying?
It's enough
That
for 3 days for 4 people to survive. So.
Exactly. And then, of course, I went and added another 72 hours.
Well, sure.
And you can add to it. And the bags have, and this is they're not paying us for anything. It's just, I thought it was Wise, which is hence the name of the company, ReadyWise.
Yeah.
It comes with bags. It came with these bags of water. And then again, you add to your own thing.
Did it have like different like time frame levels, sort of? If that's like a 3 day, did it have like a week one? And longer than that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have. So I'm on the site right now. They have an ultimate 3-day emergency survival package, and I mean it pretty much shows you everything that's here. Then they have a 2-day, and prices vary. Then there's a bundle. It's called Grab and Go, which has like a bucket of food, and like the bag full of the accessories and stuff like that it has here. It seems, I mean, it looks pretty cool, like interesting on all the stuff that they have there that you can buy. They have a 1,440 serving package for a long-term emergency food supply.
Oh yeah, there's like a 6-month, 4-week one that 4 Patriots does. I think there's almost like a year one.
Wow.
Yeah,
It comes in like these huge things. But I guess to rewind back to what I was saying when it comes to cost, if you can and you're getting, and you have like a little extra money, whether it's the stimulus or tax season, whatever, if you're getting like that little extra chunk, I would my recommendation is just grab $100 and just put a little bag together, just so you have, and think of it as that's part. And I know you could probably use that $100 towards a bill, but I'm saying I think that's money you didn't have and that just came towards you, because of the stimulus package. If you grab that $100 and you make a bag out of it, to me that's an investment.
Yeah. So that's not a lot to invest in the safety of your family for at least a few days.
Yeah, so check out 4 Patriots. None of these folks are paying for us. I want everyone to live. I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to survive. So 4patriots.com. Heck, what's the ReadyWise? Is it ReadyWise.com?
ReadyWise.com, yep.
Check them out. And then check out FEMA.gov for that basic list. You don't have to be, people get all weirded out. Like, I want to be an extreme prepper. Listen, there's going to be extreme for everything. Think about like if you own a car, someone else owns that car and they do it all out, right?
Yeah.
It got speakers, strobe lights, it's lowered, it got rims. There's
it's no
always
fun.
those people that go like way over.
1,000%.
Yeah, for everything they do. And that's fine. But it's not going to take away from your vehicle. That's still getting you from A to B, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's literally the same thing. You guys finding anything else?
No, I mean, just so people have a general idea, it's $89.99 just for a bundle, and the bundle and that's what you have.
That's what I
here.
had.
That's what you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes with the bag that it carries in, and it says first aid and hygiene, which comes with like a mask, some wipes, some tissues, sanitizers. Then it has food and drink. It has the little packets of water and 6 bags of different foods.
That's exactly what that is.
And then it has heating and cooking, where you have the waterproof matches, a little tin cup to heat up your food, and the little shovel or whatever I was saying. And then there's safety and convenience, which has the rain jacket, a flashlight, and another cover up, a whistle, playing cards, and stuff like that. So I mean, for $89.99, that's a good deal. And you basically you get that bag and put it somewhere, like Goose was saying, just put it somewhere where you're ready to go, and you know where the bag's at, and just keep moving. Yeah. So, and you have everything prepped there for you. And like you said, you have 2 days, 3 days of food there for you.
Yeah. And a lot of this stuff, outside of that, you can find on Amazon like this Life. The brand is called Life Tent. That's Amazon. I mean, I think it was like 2 for $20.
Yeah.
The sleeping bags, I think it was like 4 for $20. You know, like the list is right. None of it is crazy expensive. It's just like, are you willing to get it instead of buying, you know, something that, you know, pay that, you know, you're going to enjoy, spend the money or invest the money in something like this, and then you're not thinking about it because you're ready to rock and roll.
Another thing to have is like a small toolbox, right, with your basic essentials: a hammer, a screwdriver, knives, some ratchets, some pliers, maybe an adjustable wrench. And you don't have to have nothing crazy, just a small little 8-inch toolbox to carry your stuff in there, and you have essential tools for if you need to knock something down or whatever the case may be. So I mean, that's another gesture to put out there on that.
Again, and then go towards, like, there's people who need CPAP machines to be operating all night long, or just asthma machines, or, you know, all kinds of devices. Diabetics, like all these things. Think ahead, think about that, and you know, the stuff that you need. Eyewear was a huge one for me. I'm sitting there staring. I'm like, I know I have backup glasses, but I don't even think they're like my prescription anymore. Like, then I think about it, I'm like, dang, I got to re-up on that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, make a decision. It might be corny or cheesy, but it's make a decision to get either one really fancy pair of glasses this year or get 2 mid-level ones.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like thinking differently the way we operate. Listen, when the Great Depression happened, our grandparents or great-grandparents, they operated way different the way we operate. And so now our kids are watching us, how's Pop moving? I saw, remember that? Like, my kids, I have my kids participate in all of this stuff. They pack their own bags. Every time something comes in, I'm like, put in the duct tape, put in the whatever, the tarp.
It's good because, like, when it goes down, they packed it. They know where it's at in the sense of, like, all right, this is one of the last things I did.
Or at least know it's in there somewhere.
Yeah, these are like one of the last things I put in here, so it should be on the top of the backpack, you know? So, like, they understand. They should know. I mean, they understand how they packed it and stuff. Yeah, obviously keep them involved.
The other to go back to that radio thing, it sounded crazy, but that radio is only like $15 on Amazon. That crank radio, and it's solar, and it's a flashlight on another end.
It has, if I'm not mistaken, also has batteries in it, chargeable batteries. So there's 3 ways to operate it, right? Solar, batteries, and the crank. And the crank is only going to last you but so long, but it's still enough to get you, if you know what radio station you're looking for like the news or for like the weather or whatever. Crank it to that, and you got like good 5-10 minutes. Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta keep it cranking, but I'm just saying, like, if
you're surviving, you're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely that's one of the. It sounds geeky, but
right
it's
after this,
one of the cool
I'm
things.
ordering 2 of those because I can't believe that was one thing. Actually, I ordered 3. I want to have one in my vehicle too.
Dude, and obviously, like, you have all like the bare necessities and stuff, but there's also like. Say, like, you like coffee, they have like you can make water coffee. What's that, instant coffee? Yeah, they come in little powder packets, like stuff like that. That's what wakes me up in the morning. So like just have something like that just to kind of keep stuff on the norm. You don't have to be just on survival mode when you're in survival mode, but
absolutely
trying to, like,
think the best way to think about it is like think about if you're going camping.
Yeah.
Right.
And like go to a camping section in whatever store, even if it's like online, just go and just look at the stuff that they're, because that's all they're doing. They're going outside to quote survive, enjoy nature, obviously, but that's the essentials you're gonna need basically. Here's another one that I don't have on here, but I have at the house, and for whatever reason I keep forgetting, are those hot hands. It's like those little bags.
The warm packets?
The warm packets. You pop the little bubble inside, and it comes instantly warm. Again, if the weather isn't like that, but who knows? Look at Texas. Here, I keep going back to that because they got everything opposite of what you would ever think would happen.
Yeah.
And I'm sure those hand warmer things would come in handy at that point. And keep a lookout too. Like the more you look, I find like other brands start coming out where you don't have to get like the higher end stuff. All this other stuff would work. Like there's another company I keep forgetting, for Patriots, that make those solar things. And it might be a few bucks cheaper, but you might save $20 on that, and then that'll allow you to get 2 tents instead. If you can go out there and shop wise. But what I did was I got myself started, and like I said, I started taking things out, adding things.
The starter kit, the one that I was looking up, it's going
too. Yeah, it gets you going. But anyway, so I don't know. I thought it was cool. Again, this is prepping 101. The other thing is, I'm not huge into talking about, self-defense or whatever, but you don't know. That's what initially kicked me off was the self-defense stuff. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I got am I prepared to, protect myself and my family, my loved ones? And you get chin checked. You're like, I thought I was. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank God nothing. It never came down to any of that stuff. But you truly never know with everything that's going on.
No, 100%.
And so once I had that squared away, I'm like, oh, look at me. Oh wow, I can. I think I'm ready. And then I realized I'm like, dang, I'm really not even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you guys, it's an investment.
The good thing with some of these things, there's really no expiration dates, really. So you can buy this stuff and
it's
let it
5 years.
No,
let it
5
sit.
years.
No, it's
Four
more.
Patriots is 25-year shelf
I would
life.
say you can let it sit for a little while. And
25-year shelf life, guys.
That's insane.
Delicious meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 72 hours
that's
worth.
Awesome.
25-year shelf life. So this is not a waste of money by any means. They also have shakes.
Actually, honestly, if you buy enough, it's a one thing and done for the most part.
Basically.
Yeah.
That's why I told James, I'm like, James, you can take this to school when you go to college one day. It's ready. None of this stuff's going to expire.
Yeah.
Except for the 25-year thing, but everything else is all still usable stuff. It's not for the rest of your life you can. It's yours.
Right.
As technology evolves, just upgrade. But for the most part, that's it. That's awesome.
And some of the stuff, it's watch what you're getting too, because some of the stuff you have to do X, Y, and Z to eat the food.
Sure.
The ones over there literally just add water.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
So you got to look at what you're getting. We got sporks in our bags to kind of help with the digestion, so we're not totally fisting the food and shoving it down our throat.
Putting the powder in the mouth, then chugging the water.
Yeah, and it's
for
not
sanitation reasons.
It's
too.
not just powdered and nasty looking food. It says creamy pasta and vegetables. Yeah. So it has it's pasta,
they're
dehydrated.
Meals.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
It says
boiled. You gotta understand, this is just for survival. It's probably not gonna taste the best. It's probably not gonna be your gourmet, whatever. But when you're just trying to survive, that stuff doesn't even cross your mind. You're like, I'm eating, so whatever, and we're gonna get through this. And you got to think positive throughout that whole situation.
It's for sustenance. It's not for.
The goal is not to use this stuff. You know what I mean?
That is the goal. Not to use it.
I don't want to use this.
I mean, so one of these bags here is for 4 people. It says 4 servings per container. So this bag here, it says, you just boil it, stir the food up, cover it, let it cool. 15, 20 minutes. And you have, basically, you can serve 4 people food with one bag, and everyone eats for one night. That's dinner.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's ready to rock and roll, man.
That's
wild. And like I said, and like what Goose said, this is basically a one-time thing, unless obviously something happens and then you have to restock. Yeah. But you're gonna you're gonna probably get even better stuff because you're like, oh my god, that food was horrible, but I survived, so I'm gonna get even better or whatever. Yeah. But still, this other one is 4 pages. This has mac and cheese in it. It's amazing. There's rice and beans in another.
I was asked what kind of foods is in there.
Yeah,
because it's just a big old bag.
I think I went to that site and it does tell you what.
But
there's different.
There's the other thing is if you're not into the food stuff, the actual put water and a vegetable pops up, they sell shakes, which is my next one of my next purchases that I'm going to make. They're very pricey, in my opinion, but I think worth it.
It's like a meal replacement shake, I guess.
Yes, it's like a meal replacement.
Gives you all your nutrients, everything.
It gives you everything you need, and that's literally just add water, same thing. But you need water, so that's what I keep going back to. It's water supply.
That's the basics
important.
of everything.
Right,
is water
exactly.
Anyway.
They have food bars. Gives you your protein and.
So I will warn you guys. This stuff is legit, especially with those food bars. That's the reason why I went with this. Is not the best tasting stuff.
Sure.
But if you go on Amazon and buy and look for this survival food, whatever, I'm telling you, you're talking $2, $3, $4, $5. We're not saying you're going crazy out of the way.
Extravagant.
Yes, and again, same thing. Those food bar things, I think those have a 5-year, shelf life or whatever. But anyway, I think that was just a fun little conversation to have. I think it's something I like what the guy says. I just like that it's an awareness thing. The video I sent my brother's a video, and he's like, "How many friends and family members do you know are prepared again,
or even talk about it,
right?"
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things. It's like we get caught up on, and if you look at all this looks kind of goofy and it's kind of funny at the same time. But then you look at it again, and you're like, that's smart.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's smart. It's smart to have
Especially
that.
for everything in the past year.
Yeah, you never know. And like I said, the goal's not to use any of it,
Yeah.
but I have it if I need to. But yeah, so the whole 72-hour thing, that's what it sounds like. That's a recommendation. But just like everything we do and say, like, I would go double. But to start out, get you one of these bags or build one yourself. I'm sure everyone has like a backpack or something laying around that you could start there. And Ziploc bags, what, $5 you're talking? Not even. And you start zipping things up here and there. And before you know it, you'll be ready to rock and roll too. Anyway, does anyone have any parting words or anything else they would like to say?
Be prepared. Get prepared.
Don't be late.
And shout out to those guys who've been prepping for the last 42 years. God bless you. But, here's the thing. There's always going to, like I always say, there's always people who go to extreme on anything life has to offer.
Yeah.
There's people who like to go hiking, and then there's people who like to climb Mount Everest. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always an extremist on whatever. Yes. And same thing. God bless them. That's your thing. That's your whatever. But it's, I think it's that there's no better time than now. If you haven't get started, don't feel bad. Just get started. So anyway, and as you can see, sometimes help doesn't come as fast as you think it will, it should, or they say. So you got to protect yourself and your loved ones. All right. So, another thing I didn't talk about that is in my bag.
What?
Now I just thought about it. I'm like, well, where the heck is that? This is also good to have for people who don't have, like, their everyday carry doesn't consist of, like pocket knives or anything like that.
A slinky.
Oh, it's in here. That's why. It's on the inside. Close. But this.
Oh, a handy tool. One of those multi-tools.
So this does a little bit of everything.
A Swiss Army knife type thing.
Basically, exactly. So you have everything you need. You never know when you're going to need any of this.
Yeah.
I think it's smart to have. You got the scissors, a bottle opener. This one even has like a little mini saw on it. Screwdriver, flathead Phillips. This is a Cabela's one, and when I tell you, I'm not exaggerating. Yeah, it's probably not. Whatever. It was $5.
Yeah.
So again, we're not talking about anything crazy. Actually, and you can look it up right now. They're having a sale on their multi-tools, so you might get an even better deal. Anyway, we'll wrap it up with a quote by Bear Grylls. Survival can be summed up in 3 words. Never give up. That's the heart of it, really. Just keep trying. And the second one by Anne Frank. The weak fall, but the strong will remain and never go under. Prepping 101. In this episode, we cover topics that range from prepping, FEMA, survival, self-defense, the current pandemic, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Anne Frank and Bear Grylls. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.